Good afternoon, students. Today, in this class, we are going to see about reference and study skills in English. English is a skill subject, and there are certain skills which have to be developed by each and every learners of the language. Okay, so in this video, we shall see about reference and study skills. First, we shall see about dictionary skill. A dictionary is a book which contains alphabetically arranged words of a language and explains, describes, defines, or uses a synonym for information. A dictionary can be effectively used for checking pronunciation, spelling, meaning, grammar, and references. In a dictionary, we can see elements like spelling, pronunciation, parts of speech, common and proper nouns, abbreviations, synonyms, antonyms, and etymology, etc. Learning to use a dictionary is an important skill which requires a lot of practice. So, a teacher of English should encourage the students to make use of a dictionary effectively and quickly. He should teach them how to look up a word in a dictionary, and some of the techniques which are followed in using a dictionaries are looking in an alphabetical order, looking for abbreviation, looking for key to entries, and guide to entries. So when you are using a dictionary, you have to follow these things while referring a dictionary. For example, alphabetical order means, so you can see in a dictionary the words starting from A to Z, and also you can see some abbreviation sections in a dictionary, and the key to entries will be given in the content column, and some dictionary will contain guide to entries too. Not all the dictionaries, some dictionaries. So there are several techniques for using a dictionary, and before using a dictionary, a teacher should explain or teach all the techniques for the students, so that the students can use the dictionary effectively. Okay, next we shall see about SQ3R reading in study skill. So SQ3R is a reading comprehension method named for its 5 steps such as survey, question, read, recite, and review. So this method was introduced by Francis P. Robinson in his book Effective Study in 1946. So it is a method of reading academic materials such as textbook, articles, research studies, or manuals that can increase our comprehension. With SQ3R method, our active involvement in the reading process is required. Reading textbook is a hard work, but this SQ3R method can make the work less difficult and perhaps even more interesting. So this method created for college students, and this method can also be used by school students who can practice all the steps once they have begun to read longer and more complex text. So the steps in SQ3R are classified into 3 categories, like before reading, while reading, and after reading. So before reading, the first heading is survey. So survey refers to a quick glance through the title page, preface, chapter heading, etc. So by surveying a text, we will be able to grasp the main ideas in the textbook, and rather than the author's name, date, and place of publication, the title page will give us more idea of the general subject and the level of focus on a particular text. So if you read the title page, you'll be getting more idea about what does this book contains, and what we are going to get from this book. So like this we will be having a nice idea on which the book is containing. So while surviving, you will be getting some information from the title page, and you'll be getting some information from the preface, you'll be getting some information from chapter heading. So each and everything will give you some informations. Okay, so you can also survey some images and charts which are present in the title page, or some index page, or whatever it is. So surveying a text will give you an idea about what does this book contain. Okay, and after surveying, the next step is questions. So after survey we have to formulate some questions about the content of the reading. The heading and subheading can be converted into questions, and then we have to look for answers in the content. For example, questions like what is this chapter about, what question is this chapter trying to answer, how does this information helps me. So like this you have to frame some questions. So for example, if you are having a subheading or heading, you should ask questions on what is that heading, why this heading was given, when this heading was given, where this heading was given. So like that you have to frame what, where, why, when based on the subheadings and headings. So after surveying, you should ask some question, and after asking questions you should start reading. So you have to follow a critical approach in reading. Read each sections with the aim of answering the questions you have posed earlier in the questioning section. A text should be read over and over again, and each time for a different purpose. Some people will be having the habit of underlining keywords while reading. So we should do so only while reading the text second time, because we can concentrate on those spots which are relevant and critical for our purpose. Therefore, during our first reading, we need to look out for the main ideas and supporting details only. And after reading, you have to recite whatever you have read aloud in your own words to answer each questions, and make notes for your answer in your own words. So the students need to recall what they read from time to time, and the teacher should develop the skill of connecting what they read to their previous knowledge, and also of relating to the text to the future lesson. So this part should be done in recite or recalling. And the last one is review. So you should review your answers periodically without using your notes. If you get stuck, review your notes and try again. So review is nothing but checking whether you have followed the earlier stages promptly and efficiently. So it is a process of critically examining a book against dropback of current thoughts and ideas. The purpose of reviewing in the final stage of reading is to check whether the validity of all the steps, and whether we have made proper survey, asked the correct questions, read critically, and recall the most relevant issues. So this review part will be the successful accomplishment of the previous 4 steps. Okay, so these 5 steps of SQ3R, when polished into a smooth and efficient method, should result in the students reading faster. SQ3R is an effective and active reading strategy to better understand written content. So these are the steps of SQ3R method. Next is note making and summarizing. So note making is a more active and focused activity where the learners assimilate all informations and make sense of it. So it It means to capture the key ideas of the given passage in an easily readable and logically structural format. The style is fairly casual and the learners are allowed to use abbreviation. Note making can be a wonderful tool to make notes in class, share notes with each other, and even revise for an exam. Note making is one of the most valuable skills of the learners and which has to be developed effectively among the students. So, if you start making notes, you can capture the key ideas from the given passage and it can be transformed into easily readable and logically structural format. So the style of note making is fairly casual and the learners are allowed to use abbreviation. So when you are making notes, you are free to use abbreviations to make use of the time and other related things. And when you start making notes, you can share the notes with your friends, and also it will be helpful for you when you are studying for the examination. So next is how to make notes. So these are some steps which you have to keep in your mind before making notes. So when you are making notes, you should read the passage carefully, and after reading the paragraph, you should start giving some headings which is based on the central ideas, and it should be short. The heading should be short, crisp and interesting. You should not give a big heading for the paragraph. So you should give short heading for the paragraph, and subheadings can be framed based on the subordinate or associated ideas of the passage. So you can also give subheadings based on the ideas which is given in the passage, and all the subheadings should be written at a uniform distance from the margin. So you have to indent some space from the left corner before writing the subheading. And why? Because you should show the difference between heading and subheading, and abbreviations can be used whenever necessary, and key for the abbreviation should be given at the end of your notes, and all the informations present in the paragraph should be included, but key points should not be included, but key points should be written. So that means you should not write all the information which is given in the paragraph. You should not write all the information which is given in the paragraph. You have to select some key points, and those key points should give a perfect overview of the passage. You should also not miss the perfect view, and you should also not write whatever given there in the paragraph. Okay. So these are some points which you have to remember while making notes. And the next study skill is summarizing. So summarizing is a writing skill, and which should be developed by the students of senior classes. Students should be trained to write summaries of newspaper reports, articles, journals, magazines on their own. So this summarizing is a skill which should be given for students of senior classes. And characteristics of a good summary. A good summary must be organized, interrelated and expressed in a logical way. So all the things which is given should be in a organized and logical way, and it should contain all the essential ideas present in the original text. So when you are giving a summary of a particular text, it should contain all the ideas which is given in the original text. You should not miss any essential or any important ideas from the original text, and non-essential ideas, more examples should be omitted. So some in a paragraph, so many things will be given, and that may not be that much important for the central theme of the paragraph. So such things can be omitted. So that is what non-essential ideas and more examples can be omitted from the original paragraph. Then the idea should be in the same order as in the original order. So you should not change the order of the text. So whatever the idea given in the original text should be in the same order in your summary. And a good summary should be far as possible in the writer's own word, at the same time maintaining the style and spirit of the original work. So when you are writing a summary, it should be in your own word, but in the same time the style and spirit of the original author should not be missed. So that is what the style and spirit of the original author should be maintained, but in your own words. Okay, so these are the characteristics of a good summary. Next is steps for writing a summary. So these are some steps which you have to follow while writing a summary. So the passage should be read intelligently more than once if necessary. So the first thing is you have to read the passage more than once to understand the central theme or idea of the original paragraph. Then the most important point should be selected and noted down. So while reading itself, you should highlight the important points from the original text, so that when you are starting your own summary, it will be helpful for you to list out the important points. And the point should be arranged systematically in a logical sequence. I told you earlier, the thing which you are giving should be in a logically arranged sequence. Okay, an appropriate title should be given related to the main theme of the passage, and it should be written in a clear and precise language. The language should be simple and clear. The length of the summary depends upon the ideas contained in the paragraph. So if the idea is very difficult, it can be a big summary. If the idea is very simple, your summary should be a short and simple one. Okay, and the content should be rephrased in a simple language. So whatever the author's original language is, that language should be, your summary should be simple according to the original text. And a rough draft and fat draft should be written. So I hope you know writing the summary in your composition works in your school days. So you'll be writing rough draft, and finally a fat draft should be maintained. And rough draft is a paragraph which you frame before writing the fat draft. So the final draft is your fat draft. Next is library skill. Library is a storehouse of knowledge, you know it very well. So library contains lots and lots of books and information, so that's why it is called as storehouse of knowledge. The need of a library is great, and its availability is a heartfelt need to almost all the students. So this library plays a dominant role in teaching and learning process, and if a student is making use of the library in a best way, that particular student will be bold enough to answer all the questions asked in the class, and he will be free from fear, hesitation, and etc. So it is the responsibility of the teacher to train the students in library skill. So the best place to stimulate the children to read freely is the library. So you should take your students to the library and teach them how to use the library and how to make use of the books which is available in the library. And you should also explain the sections of the book which are arranged according to the subject, and you should also train them how to take the book from the library and also how to use the library, etc. So you know very well that there are some general instructions which you have to follow in the library, like observe silence inside the library, do not write or scribble anything on the book, do not fold the papers of the book, do not deliberately hide the book. Some students will be deliberately hiding the book for some selfish mind. So that book should be read by only me, not by others. So such kind of students will also be there. So you should not encourage them that like doing such things. And do not tear off the pages from the book. So you should not tear any pages from the library book, and you should return the book on or before the due date. So you should there will be a due date given for the students who have taken books from the library, and you should return the book back to the library on or before the due date. So these are some of the instructions which you have to follow inside a library. Next is reference skill. Learning language is basically a skill, and in order to retain the interest among the students, especially while learning a foreign language like English, the teacher has to combine a variety of skill and present information in an effective manner. To achieve this objective, the teacher has to take up a lot of reference work, and also the teacher has to motivate the students to refer some materials, and the teacher has to teach how to refer some materials in order to learn a language effectively. There are a lot of reference materials, and the student should develop the skill known as reference skill. The various reference materials include dictionary, thesaurus, and encyclopedia. Okay, so we will see what is dictionary, what is thesaurus, and what is encyclopedia. So we have already discussed about dictionary, and we will see it again. So dictionary is a book which contains alphabetically arranged words of a language and explains, describes, defines, or uses a synonym for information. So this is the definition for dictionary, and we have already seen what is dictionary and how to use a dictionary. So next we will move on to thesaurus. So thesaurus is a book that lists words in a group of synonyms and related concept. So it helps the learner to find the related words when he has one of the meaning of a particular word in mind. So there are techniques to use the thesaurus like the dictionary. Such techniques are following alphabetical order and providing guide words or head words, introductory pages which contain how to use the dictionary, how to use the thesaurus, and at the end of the thesaurus there will be references to antonyms. So thesaurus is a kind of dictionary which gives you some synonyms related concept. So for example, if take the word beautiful, so instead of saying beautiful you can say pretty, you can say adorable. So that is synonyms. Such words are synonyms for beautiful. So in thesaurus you will be having such kind of words which are related to the similar words. So uses of thesaurus. So there are some uses of thesaurus. The thesaurus is used to know the synonyms of the words and to know the antonyms of the word, to develop vocabulary, to use the language effectively while writing essays or articles, to know related words, and to select appropriate words and use accordingly to the concept. And the next reference work is encyclopedia, and encyclopedia are reference manuals which gives more information on a particular topic, subject, or author. And encyclopedias are to be referred in the same manner in which we refer dictionary and thesaurus. There are two types of encyclopedia, namely general and specialized. General encyclopedia is used for each and every one, and the specialized encyclopedia is used for the specialist in the concerned subject. So most of the libraries consist of encyclopedias like Encyclopedia Britannica, Columbia Encyclopedia, etc. There are so many reference materials which are useful for the children, and the teacher should encourage them and help them to make the best use of the reference materials, and thereby the students develop the reference skill. If it is developed properly, it will certainly help them to improve their ability in the use of English language. The next one is bibliography and annotated bibliography. So bibliography is a list of books, articles, and other resources used by the researcher while researching a topic and writing a paper. It is included at the end of the paper or report. The main purpose of a bibliography entry is to give credit to the author whose work have been consulted in the research. Another purpose of bibliography is to make it easy for a curious reader to find the source used by the researcher. So bibliography is nothing but citing the books which we have referred while researching or writing an article or writing a paper. So you should give some credit to the resources which you have used while writing a paper. So that the name of the book and the name of the author should be entered at the end of your paper. So the general bibliography include the following content, like the name of the author, title of the magazine or title of the article, date of publication, place of publication of the book, publishing company of the book, and the volume number of the magazine or printed encyclopedia, and then the page number. So all these informations should be given in a bibliography. So there are different ways of writing bibliography for printed resources and resources which were taken from website, and each thing should be written differently, that we will see later. And next is annotated bibliography. So annotated bibliography is a list of citation to the book, article and document. Each citation is followed by a brief description and evaluative paragraph. So annotated bibliography is the same like bibliography, but the thing is, in annotated bibliography you have to give some paragraph or you have to give some brief descriptive of what is the content you have referred. So the small difference is, here in annotated bibliography you will be giving a small descriptive paragraph, but in bibliography you will be giving only the information of the author, only the name of the author, title, year of publication, place of publication, that's it, page number, that's it. But in annotated bibliography you are writing some brief description about the content which you have referred. So this is the small difference between bibliography and annotated bibliography. So in this video I have given you an introduction about reference and study skill in English, which is in unit number 3, and we have discussed about dictionary skill, SQ3R reading method, note making and summarizing, library and reference work, bibliography and annotated bibliography. So if you have any doubt, you just post some questions, and you are also requested to search some notes or some informations based on these headings in internet or in books which you have. Okay, thank you.